Catherine here. I am going to be baking through this cookbook. It's not full. It was my grandmother's. I just got it. She died when I was maybe 14. So it's really special to me that I was given this. So I have never tried these recipes. I'm sure I've tried things that are similar, but some of them are a complete surprise. I have no idea what they are. So the very first one is marzipan bars. So I am going to just cook them in order. I'm not sure that they're even in, I think she tried to section them off, so like, you know, main meals versus baked goods, but the first one is marzipan bars, so we will try that. Also, it seems that her descriptions are pretty vague, so some of the stuff I am going to have to make up or use my knowledge and see how it goes. So, this also has food coloring in it, which I am not going to be doing, but I will tell you when it's there and let you know when it is, or what it should look like, I think. Anyway, let's get started. Line bottom of pan with a thin pastry. There's no recipe in this for a pastry dough, so I guess you would just use, you could use store-bought, or you could just use your favorite pastry recipe. I'm gonna spray it because I think that's probably a good idea. I usually use parchment, but so I just bought a store-bought Pillsbury pie dough, and I'm not sure if this counts as thin, but we'll just take it out. Now, I'm usually somebody who would make this, but for the sake of this, and as it's a bar, I think I'm just gonna lay it out and cut it out. It doesn't sound like it's supposed to go up the sides or anything. It's supposed to line the bottom. It says line bottom. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm just taking a knife and I'm gonna cut it out. It's fine. There I have lined the bottom with a pie crust. All right, we're gonna set that aside. In a bowl. Oh, hold on. It says cover with a layer of jam. It doesn't say how much jam. It does say raspberry. So I just got raspberry jam. And I'm just gonna put it in here and layer it. I'm not really sure how thick to go. Looks pretty even. So that's about half of a 500 milliliter raspberry jam. Blend butter and sugar thoroughly, add eggs, and beat until light and fluffy. So there's a half a cup of butter in this. These aren't measured out, I just wrapped them first. Now I am going to put it in a measuring cup. I don't normally, to be honest with you, I just kind of wing it. That's probably half a cup. All right. Or I would cut my butter in the other way. First of a cup. And I am going to use an electric mixer. Actually, maybe I'll use the KitchenAid. Use an electric mixer. I have a KitchenAid, so I'm going to use it. So we're going to blend the butter and sugar first. My butter is room temperature, but it's not that warm today, so we'll see. I should take care of it anyway. Now you could do this by hand, it would just take a little longer. Both the eggs in. It just says blend until light and fluffy, so alright, so we'll just blend those till light and fluffy. Now, because I don't know what the texture is that I'm looking for, like in the end result, I'm not really sure how long to beat these for. So we're just gonna see how they turn out. Gotten to like the light and fluffy stage. Next is to add in rice flour. I'm going to turn it off because otherwise it's going to fly everywhere. We need 3/4 of a cup of rice flour. And a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Salt, but that's just regular. This is fine green sea salt. And I'm just gonna mix this lightly through, like just until incorporated. So I feel like that is there. So just until it is incorporated. So we have this incorporated here. I'm just gonna give it a quick, get it off the sides. Now, it's a little lumpy, but I'm not sure if it's supposed to be like that or not. Now this in the recipe does say to mix in pink and green food coloring. It just says half would have pink and half would have green, and then it says put small teaspoonful of each mixture alternately on jam to cover. So I have the vision that that is supposed to maybe be a checkerboard. Either I would say a checkerboard or because if we were going to alternate, that is what I would guess that means. I'm not going to use food coloring. It's not going to change the taste any. I just don't want that. So I am just going to layer the mixture on the top of this. So this is the pie and the jam that we've set aside, and we're going to it could either mean like you do bigger squares, so like every other square would be a different color, or you're doing a checker pattern. I guess it's a checker pattern either way, but bigger or smaller, I'm not sure. Either way, it's gonna taste the same. So I'm just gonna spread that evenly over that. And I did forget to put the oven on. So this is gonna be baked at 375. So I'm just gonna pop the oven on to 375. And finish putting these like that. So this gets baked for 35 minutes. It does get an icing on top, which I will make that in one. I'll just set this aside to go in the oven. So once your oven's preheated, pop that in for 35 minutes. Now the icing is where the marzipan is going to come in. And really it's just because it is a almond flavored topping. So I imagine that's why it's being called marzipan. I imagine these recipes are somewhere in like probably the 70s, 80s would be my guess. I guess some of them could be from her mother. I'm not sure when she started writing them down. So I'm just gonna use this bowl. It was the bowl that I started with, so there's a little bit of sugar in there, but that should be just fine. So it says to have 2 tablespoons of butter for the frosting. So we'll put that in there. And a teaspoon of almond flavoring. I just got almond extract. This is Clubhouse. I'm in Canada, so it could be something else where you are. So I'm gonna do a teaspoon of almond flavoring in there. There's 2 tablespoons of milk. There is a 1.5 cups of icing sugar. So this is gonna be a very loose frosting. I would say it's going to be more like a glaze, like a royal icing. I have to soften this a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit. Like I said, it's cool in here, so the butter is just smells very almondy. Now I imagine once we start putting in the icing sugar, the bin is empty, so we're gonna open a new one. right, mix that together. The milk is what's gonna bring this all together, but get butter mixed in as best we can. All right, and it just says ice with almond frosting cut into bars. So royal icing. Smells delicious if you like almond stuff. Alright, so I'm just going to set that aside until it is baked and cooled, and then we'll come back and icing it and cut it into bars. Alright, they are all baked and cooled. So now I'm going to take this frosting that we made earlier and I'm going to put it, actually, I'm going to take these out of the pan first. Baked and cooled. Taken out of the pan, I think, if it will let me. That jam really hard on the edge. So I'm just running a knife along the edge and we'll see if it comes out. Well, we lost the corners, but that's okay. We'll just put it back together. Now, I have to flip it back over though. Easier on yourself by just icing them in the pan, but all right. So it crumbled a tiny bit there. All right, so we'll take this frosting. I'm not sure how good this is going to spread, to be honest with you, but let's see. So like I expected, because it's so crumbly, you're not going to get a nice even thing, but maybe if I make this again, I might put some parchment paper in the bottom of the pan instead of oiling it, because I think we would have got a better crumb on it, but that's all right. All right, and then we'll take a knife and cut them into bars. See, they're breaking up a little bit. That's all right. They're just for my house, so. There's how one looks. Alright, I'll do a little taste test. I'm just gonna taste this little edge. I'm not sure it tastes like marzipan, but they're not bad. The raspberry jam is definitely a must. It's pretty good. If you like marzipan, it's an almond jam treat. Enjoy. Bye.